What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Between the Hash Marks. This week's edition is going to be freaking off the wall. It is baseball season again. What's going on, Sean?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream. I am absolutely fired up to be talking about the MLB this week. Absolutely fired up. We've been teasing it forever.
I know.
And I'm finally, we're here.
And we're going to go into why we're so hyped up. There is a specific reason about all of this hype. We will dive into it. But there's a couple of things that we want to touch on before we go into all of that.
Some pretty big things happen.
Yeah. But before I mention that, I want to tell you to follow our Facebook page at Between the Hash Marks. Follow us on iTunes. Subscribe to us at Between the Hash Marks. YouTube. We're soon to have a Twitter.
We're going to be on a couple other platforms as well.
iHeartMedia soon. Also, Google Play. So just keep following us. Yeah. It's you know what? We just had a meeting last Tuesday. For 4 hours was it?
Yeah.
And we discussed so many things, how we want to better the show, where we want to go with the show,
building.
How we want to add to it. Yeah, it's a building process, and we are in the middle of it. Towards the beginning, getting to the middle, we are nowhere close to the end, but that's good news because we've already come so far.
And staying hungry.
And exactly. I'm starving. I could use a cheesesteak right about now.
Not some crab rangoons?
Oh, I could use some crab rangoons too. But anyway, I mean, there has been some pretty big news in the NFL this year, this offseason.
Oh, yeah.
This week alone, Ndamukong Suh signs with the Los Angeles Rams to join that defensive line with Aaron Donald. How scary is that going to be?
Yeah, so their defense is second best now in the NFL. I would put them above the Minnesota Vikings, but, my Jacksonville Jaguars, still number one defense in the NFL. I'll stand by it. It looks like they're getting better too. But no, this is a great move for the Rams, and I'll have them as my Super Bowl dark horse going into the year because of this signing and because of a lot of the signings that they have done over the course of the offseason.
And how players have grown. Robert Woods has grown immensely. He's become a number one wide receiver. Wow, it's a tongue twister for me right now. I can't talk. Shouldn't even be doing the podcast right now. But anyway, I like the signing. The one thing I don't like about it is a 1-year deal, so he could dip and leave after this year. But
hey, you have that window. You got to take an opportunity of that window, and they have that window right now. Those windows are here, and they leave before you even know it,
except for one team.
Besides one team, but they need to take advantage of it right now.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. NFL windows are 2-3 years max. Look at the Seahawks. Everybody thought they were going to be so good. Yeah. They accomplished one Super Bowl. I know one Super Bowl is big, but for a team that got so much hype, one Super Bowl,
they probably should have won another one.
At least one more. At least one more. They came close. With the pick in the end zone.
They did come close.
But still, they did not finish, and that's the key. Another Giants story coming out this week. Will Odell Beckham play for the New York Giants this season?
I see what you did there. Another Giant story. Nice play on words there.
I like it. No pun intended? No pun intended?
Yeah, it seems like no pun intended on that. No, but this is pretty crazy. I think this is a good move for the Giants. In the fact that it depends on what they get, obviously. And I think if they get the number 4 pick from the Cleveland Browns, this is great. If they get their unrealistic demands of 2 number 1s, this is great for them. But they should just not do anything at all. They should just take a quarterback with the 2nd pick, build your team, and you're upgrading your offensive line, so there should be more of a running game. Eli should be a little bit better, and you have weapons for wide receiver and tight end. The defense looks all right. I don't understand if you're the Giants and you truly believe in Eli Manning, why are you getting rid of Odell?
I don't think that they should get rid of Odell either. I see people say he's a cancer in the locker room, this and that, the boat trip. They haven't won barely any games since that trip. What's going on with Odell? Well, the one thing I do have against him, he can't stay healthy. Yeah. He's been hurt for 3 out of the 4 seasons he's played. But that being said, with all those games being missed, he still has over 3,000 yards and 30 touchdowns in his first 4 years. That's
true.
Pretty incredible.
That's true, but he is not his production on the field doesn't translate to wins or losses. If you look at his 10 biggest games of his career, the Giants are, I think it's 4-6 in those 10 games, or 5-5. That's not something that I want to invest a whole bunch of money into, so I can understand why they want to get rid of him. But and it seems like they think Eli Manning still has another year or two. If you think that, what are you doing with Odell? Because Odell has been the reason why Eli has been serviceable over these past few years. Like, Odell makes Eli look like an average quarterback. Without Odell, Eli is
done.
Yeah, exactly.
Done. And on top of that, if you're say they draft a quarterback, there is no better wide receiver to start off with than Odell due to his age.
Yeah, exactly.
He's 24.
And they're building that
or is he
offensive
25
line.
now? I think he's 24. I believe he's 24, but still, even 24, 25, you still have at least 5 more years left in your prime that you could draft a quarterback and actually potentially make it to a Super Bowl with Odell still in his prime with that young quarterback.
Absolutely. So I don't know what they're doing, but if they can get the amount they're asking for, or if they get that number 4 pick, I think it's totally worth it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
because they basically lock themselves up to get some 2-star players, and I think their roster is better than
it's
the
relatively
Redskins.
decent.
They're better than the Redskins and equal to the Cowboys, if not better. So
I don't think it's a good move for them to trade him unless they get an unrealistic offer, like we're saying, at least 2 first-round picks or the first
what they're asking
overall. Yeah, what they're asking for, which I don't think they will get.
No.
So I don't think that they will trade.
But
him.
I don't think they should pay him the money. I don't think he's worth Antonio Brown money because I don't think he puts up the production as Antonio Brown.
If he can stay healthy, I think so. But we're also talking Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, 2 totally different quarterbacks there. I think if he had a Big Ben thrown to him, he'd be on Antonio Brown's level.
Maybe.
But enough of football. We have a whole offseason to talk about football, but we wanted to touch on the 2 topics that really stuck out to us this week in the football world.
Yep.
But another big thing that happened is the Final Four is set in stone.
Yeah.
San Antonio is awaiting.
Yes.
What 4 teams?
We have Loyola Chicago. They made the Final Four. This is absolutely incredible. Sister Jean, she's been doing some serious praying, so I don't know. I don't want to mess with that
whatever
mojo.
prayer she's saying, I need to learn.
Yeah, exactly. They're going up against number 3 seed Michigan. This kind of looks like one of their majestic years where they just keep finding a way to get it done. I believe they've won 8 or 9 games in a row. They won the Big Ten championship tournament. They had a really good last few games of the regular season. They're a really hot team. And then we have Villanova, who looks like the best team in the country. They destroyed West Virginia.
Well, they have a great coach.
They destroyed Texas Tech. So they destroyed Alabama. They've been taking care of business in every single game, and none of them were really close. That West Virginia game was a little close. Until about midway through the second half, and then Villanova pulled away. And then we have Kansas. It's funny, we had that Kansas-Duke matchup. We both thought Duke. I actually had Duke in my winning it all. But at the beginning of the year, you picked Duke, I picked Kansas, so I want to give myself a little check mark on that one.
But let's talk about that block charge real quick.
Yeah,
because we just talked about this off air, and we both agreed that it was a charge, not a block, and it actually ruined Duke's season.
But you know what? There were a lot of, and this is what bothers me about college basketball. The referees... Oh man, they really affect these games because it's not like the NBA where a team can shoot 2 3-pointers, go up by 6, and then the other team just comes back with another 2 3-pointers and it's tie game. Every single basket in college basketball feels like the momentum has drastically shifted to the other side. So it's just like a team goes up by 4, and then that other
feels
team,
like the game's over.
Yeah, it feels like, oh my god, and the other team that comes back, if they come back, it feels like it's a mile away because they just don't have the shooters. But I was really surprised that Duke wasn't able to handle Kansas when Azubuike went out. He was the big tall guy, 7-footer who's going to go in the NBA draft. I couldn't believe that they didn't take advantage of his absence with Bagley down low, with Carter,
Wendell Carter.
Yeah.
Jr.
So I agree with you. That call was
it was a tie game, I believe, when that happened.
It was incorrect. Or no, they were down by Duke was up by 1.
Okay.
But the 2 free throws put Kansas up by 1. Yeah.
Which in a sense ended Duke's season.
Yeah, and
because that changed the whole ball game. They don't get that. Duke gets the ball, they go down. They're probably going to get fouled by Kansas because we're in the last minute of the game now.
Well, and also, I mean, what's his face? Grayson Allen. I mean, that ball rolled in and then rolled right out.
Yep.
But you know what? He should have passed it out on that play because I forget the shooting guard's name, but he was wide open for the 3. He was not having a great game, but he was kind of heating up towards the end of the game. The ball probably should have been passed out to him, but. Still, that was
Grayson Allen's last game. He's going to take that shot.
That has been, but he could extend his career if he passes it out. No, but that's a shot that you expect him to make, and he almost made it. So I don't really fault him for it. And he was kind of the one leading the team in that game. I mean, he was playing very well.
He's their most well-known player.
Yeah.
We have Bagley, we have Wendell Carter Jr., but Grayson Allen has been there. He won the championship at Duke a couple. He was the star in that game as a freshman.
Absolutely.
So
but that to me that was the best game of the tournament.
Oh, absolutely, without question.
That was really exciting. But I think this Final Four is going to be really good.
Who's going really quick? Who's going to the national championship and who wins?
So I have Villanova beating Kansas. I'm rooting for Kansas because I picked them at the beginning of the year to win it all. And I'm in a bracket pool where I need Kansas to win. And I have Michigan beating Loyola. And
that's a big pick right there.
Hey, I'm going against Sister Jean. That's not very wise as we've seen. And Loyola has beaten some serious teams this year.
They absolutely have.
So and they've only lost one game with all of their starters healthy this season. So they're doing pretty damn well. 5 games for the entire season. They went through a little stretch where it was pretty bad, but
Nova, Michigan, who wins?
I'd have to go if you're asking me to bet on it. I'd have to go with Nova, but rooting for Michigan.
All right. I actually have the same 2 teams as you. I have Nova beating Kansas.
That game's going to be awesome.
I have Michigan beating Loyola. The prayers are hopefully they work. I would love to see Loyola win it all. That would be the craziest story in college basketball history.
I think I'm the only person rooting for Michigan against Loyola.
Well, that's because you picked them.
But that didn't go to Michigan. Yeah, I guess so.
But if you didn't have Michigan in your Final Four in your bracket, you would be rooting for Loyola just like the rest of the world.
I don't know.
But that being said, I've got Nova winning the whole thing too. They look like the best team in the country. But enough with all of this talk about other sports. College basketball, we've done 2 straight weeks on. We've done football for how many weeks in a row now? It is time to go on to the topic of the day. Tomorrow is opening day baseball.
Hell yeah.
The major leagues. Hell yeah is right. And coming up next, you're going to hear all about it, including my rant.
Your #1 source for sports.
You know who I can't stand? Kevin Durant.
He looks like Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton had a kid.
Now, who can argue with that?
I hate Boston.
I'm the biggest Miami Heat hater you'll ever meet.
I just don't understand where you're getting your bogus information from.
What the hell are you even talking about?
Well, I'm sorry you're too freaking sensitive to handle the truth.
You think I'm crazy? I'm just getting warmed up.
You're now between the hash marks with James Koklak and Sean McCabe.
It's around that time of year again, when early in the morning you wake up with a chilly breeze, morning dew on the grass instead of that shiny white frost. With warmer weather on the horizon, flowers will soon be blossoming. It's officially baseball season again, with so many storylines to follow. Many fans, myself and partner Sean included, are very excited about one particular rivalry to rise back to the top. One that is considered by most the best rivalry in baseball historically. Anyone want to take a guess? Dodgers? Giants? Nope. Although the Dodgers and Giants have had some of the greatest moments playing each other in baseball history, the Yankees and Red Sox is the best rivalry in baseball. Hence, why it's so important for us to talk about this today.
Absolutely.
And guess what? It'll be back in historic fashion. Opening day for the first time in a half-decade, the Yankees and Red Sox will be aiming for the same goal within realistic limitations. Each team this year expects to win the division and to compete for a World Series. For the first time ever, the Red Sox will lead the Major League Baseball in payroll with a whopping $223 million, 20 more than the number 2 team, the Giants, and 40 more million than the number 3 team, the Cubs. The Yankees are 7th on this list, but are now coming into the season 1 game shy of the World Series last year and adding the NL MVP this offseason, Giancarlo Stanton. The Sox didn't hold off on making their fair share of moves, including the biggest signing of the offseason, JD Martinez. Each game between these 2 teams this season could in fact determine the outcome of the division, creating a fierce battle for each pitch, each inning, and each game between the AL East rivals. To give an example why winning your division and getting home field can really be a factor in this postseason, last year's Yankees team was up 3-2 in a 7-game series against the soon-to-be world champion Astros, but lost in games 6 and 7, which were both in Houston. The only win on the road the Yankees had last postseason was to beat the Indians in ALDS in Game 5, and the Yankees, they made it all the way to Game 7 of the ALCS after moving on and beating the Indians. I put that in there because I want to explain how much home field advantage really works. How could the Yankees go all the way to Game 7 of the ALCS with only winning 1 road game? Now imagine that those two teams were flip-flopped. We'll jump into that after this rant. I fully understand that this is a bold statement, that the historic rivalry will be back in historic fashion. But there is some evidence to back up my claim. I'm well aware that back in the heyday, these teams were star-studded to the brim with the likes of Jeter and Williams, Pettit, Clemens, Mariano Rivera, for people who don't know, Posada, Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, Pedro Martinez, Nomar Garcia-Parra, and the many players who played for either organization over the last 20 years or so. But these young, star-studded, talented teams the Yankees and Red Sox have are pretty similar, with a solid chance to reach the same heights, maybe even higher. Those are some lofty goals, but these two teams now have the star power with a young core to compete at a high level for the next 10 years. These teams remind me of the start of the last wave between these two franchises, starting back in the early 90s. Lots of homegrown talent, all coming up at once, which is very similar to what these teams are going through now with the likes of Judge, Severino, Sanchez, Betances, Devers, Benintendi, Betts, Bradley Jr., Torres, Miguel Andujar, and many, many more for each side. With that being said, the Yankees and Red Sox played 19 times this year, which is nothing new, including a 3-game series to end the season, September 28th through the 30th. Anytime two teams play each other as much as they do, with the history behind the clubs and what is on the line this year and for many more years to come, I think it's fair to say this rivalry will take off again and bring fans the excitement they haven't seen in a half-decade. I am now 26 years old, and I know a lot of us, you are 23.
Yep.
So, I know a lot of us were very young when these players I mentioned earlier, Pedro Martinez and them, when they came up to the majors, we were very young. For the first time in our adulthood lives, now we can actually appreciate the rivalry. We will see history in the making between these two teams over the next 10 years or so, and I firmly believe that.
So what you're saying is you think the rivalry is just going to be as good as it was in, we'll say, the 70s or in like the early 2000s? Like that to me is where I have a problem with everything that you're saying.
Now you have to put it into consideration, though, because those teams were so good because of the players that were there. These teams that we're seeing now, that I'm talking about in the future. If these players pan out to be the way they are projected, the Gleyber Torres, who's the second overall prospect in baseball, the Red Sox don't have their fair share of prospects. I know Benintendi's been in the pros for now 2 years, well, a year and a half technically, right?
Yep.
But he's still considered in many
all right,
minds a top prospect.
All right, so let me just stop you here let me just stop you there. This rivalry, yes, I think it is getting heated up again, but it is nothing compared to what it was in the 70s and in the early 2000s. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a little bit of a history lesson. I know this is before both of us were born, but this is something that is taken into consideration. These are some of the stories that you were told as a kid as to why to hate the other team. In 1973, there was a game between the Red Sox and the Yankees, and it was tied at 2, where Gene Michael missed a bunt with Thurman Munson on third base. However, Munson still came home and he trucked Carlton Fisk right over. It caused a huge fight, and it basically ended up in Fisk getting a fist to the face by Munson. That's just one story. That was 1973. We have Lou Piniella collides with Carlton Fisk in 1976. The Yankees kept up the fireworks in the 6th inning of a game where Lou Piniella tried scoring feet first, which resulted in a fight between Fisk and Piniella. The benches were cleared, and after that huge fight, Bill Lee from the Red Sox and Greg Nettles got into an exchange of words, ultimately leading to Lee missing the entire 1976 season. I move forward to 2003. Pedro Martinez and Don Zimmer.
I remember this one.
Yeah, where Pedro Martinez throws Don Zimmer down to the ground from his head. And that is an awesome thing. And then
for Red Sox fans.
No, but then it's followed up by Roger Clemens, put a pitch right under Manny Ramirez's chin that everyone thought was absolutely obscene. And then the Sox would ultimately end up losing Game 7. They blow Game 7 because Grady Little decides to leave Pedro Martinez in. Aaron Boone hits that home run off of Tim Wakefield. That is just that. Like, those teams hate each other.
Who's the next Yankees manager?
Hey! I'm not done yet. 2004, where Veritek gives A-Rod some. He gives him a face full of catcher glove because Bronson Arroyo hits him, and A-Rod doesn't. He thinks Bronson Arroyo's a little bit of a punk. He says some words. Veritek doesn't like it, and Veritek basically beats the crap out of A-Rod. And that is a game where the Red Sox, I believe, were losing like 5-0 when that happened. That fight happens, and the Red Sox are also like 10 games out of the division in mid-July, and the Red Sox come back and win that game in the bottom of the 9th inning, win that game 11-10, which turned the whole Red Sox season around, which allowed them to win the World Series that year. You're telling me that what is coming up is going to be as heated and as fierce as those incidents? Because I completely disagree with you, because the players like each other nowadays. The players union association, they're all friends. That was not the case back then. It is the case now, and that's why I don't compare them at all. Not to mention, the rivalry has been dead for a while. It's not even the best. Like, right now, it's starting to heat up as the best rivalry in sports, but over the past 10 years or so,
it hasn't. Oh, absolutely
the
not.
Giants-Dodgers has been a lot better, and so has the Cubs and Cardinals.
Well, there's something I want to point out, though, is that, yes, all of those things happened, but you have to think about the future here. Now, all of these players, now it's different if these players don't stay with these teams. If, say, Rafael Devers leaves Boston or Benintendi leaves Boston. But if these players,
why you got all the Boston players leaving?
No, but I'm saying,
I'm just
so if Judge leaves or Sanchez leaves,
all right.
You get the point. But if these players stay and they play against each other for the next 10 years, with what's on the line year in and year out, I think that there is going to grow hatred between them. I do, and it's going to happen because of how many times they play. And for instance, this year, what are the odds? Well, I want you to answer this in the next segment. Okay. But what are the odds that this year the season comes down to the last series between the Yankees and Red Sox to see who wins the division? Tell me that kind of stuff isn't going to create the rivalry between these two Red Sox and Yankees teams. And I'm not talking about just next year. Next year, the rivalry probably won't be there as strong as I'm saying. But
what are you talking about then?
But going forward, over the next 10 years, we are going to see this rivalry hit the limits that it hit and possibly surpass it if all these players stay with the current club, just because time does that to each other. Look at Katie and Russ.
So
They're
what you're
supposed
telling
to be
me?
friends. They played on the same team. Now, if they play on the same court in the playoffs, you see them talking crap to each other. You see the hatred, even though it may not be there, it's there on the field.
So you're
on the court in their sense.
What it sounds like you're telling me is that you really are intending to save this rant for next year because you think it's going to be heated next year, not even this year.
No, I think it'll be heated towards the end of the season this year. I think that as the season grows, the rivalry will start to pick up again because they both are going into the season with the same expectations now, which we hadn't seen over the last 5 to 6 years. Going back to the last couple of years, Derek Jeter was on the team and captaining the Yankees.
Yeah.
But moving forward, if these star-studded players stay on these teams are going to be good for the next 10 years. And being in the same division, fighting for that division title, fighting for the World Series, only one team can win both. So who's gonna do it year in and year out? I think that rivalry is going to pick up. I think these players are going to start to realize, look, we're now in the best rivalry in sports. We want to win this. We don't want to be on the losing end every time. And I think it's going to create hatred there. I really do. And I think with the talent,
I don't buy it just because these players are all friends. Like it's not people are out for blood anymore. It's just people want to play baseball and like. They're all from the same country. We see this in like the World Baseball.
All it takes is one incident to happen.
It takes one incident,
everything goes down the drain. And I think that incident will happen.
If that incident happens, then yes, I can see it. But I just don't. I don't see it happening. I think it'll be a good rivalry for Red Sox and Yankees fans, like it has always been. But to me, it's not going to be the rivalry that everybody wants to be seeing across the nation because there's just so much going on in baseball. I don't think it's going to, like, that East Coast bias thing. I don't think that's going to be happening this year with baseball unless that incident does happen. But coming up next, we've been teasing it for a while. We have our 2018 MLB preseason predictions coming up next on BTH.
Do you have the overwhelming urge to advertise something where it'll only reach 100 people? Well, don't we have the perfect thing for you? Right here, we will sell you this 30-second spot for whatever commercial you want, as long as you let us put this music with it. This music will be by Audionautics and Jason Shaw. Isn't this music fantastic? We sure think so, and that's why we're going to make you listen to it for a few more seconds. Now, back to the greatest sports podcast ever to be conceived.
And welcome back to Between the Hash Marks. We just had a great rant. Is the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry going to be as big as it was in the early 2000s or the 1970s? We will see. Only time will tell. But now it is time for our 2018 MLB preseason predictions. We're going to be starting with the American League West here. James, tell me how you have your American League West from top to bottom.
Okay. I got the Astros number 1 in that division. I mean,
surprise.
Clear cut. That nobody's going to come close to them.
How many wins do you have them going this year?
I have 101.
Wow.
Okay. I do believe they are a fantastic team. They have so much depth at every position. They got better.
Yeah, no, they did.
By landing Garrett Cole. So I love the Astros this year, although we'll get to why I'm going to not like them.
Okay.
The Angels, I have them at 91 wins, second in the division.
Okay.
The Angels are going to take a big jump this year. Mariners at 84, Athletics at 81, and the Rangers at 77 wins.
Okay. Yeah, no, we're pretty similar here with the order of teams. I also have the Astros 1, Angels 2, Mariners 3, Athletics 4, Rangers 5. I want to talk about the Rangers a little bit. I think they're a really good team with the bat, but they've always had good offenses every single year. It seems like home runs are just flying out of that ballpark. But this team does not have it's not a pitcher-friendly ballpark, first of all, and they are lacking their starting pitching. Cole Hamels, he's supposed to be their ace. They paid all this money for, and where's he been? Like where's he been?
Haven't heard his name since the trade.
Exactly. And we both have them finishing 5th place in the division. I have them at 71 wins. You have them at
77, which is what Vegas has them at.
Vegas has 77.5, so 77 right on the money there. It's crazy. So between the three of us, of Vegas, you, and me, we have them very, very low, and that's just crazy to me. When this is a team that was competing for division titles a year in and year out in World Series, they just missed it.
Ron Washington.
They just missed it twice.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's some bad luck. But the Astros, I mean, I have them with 99 wins. I don't think it's tough. They won 101 last year. You have them 101 this year.
Yeah.
It's tough to do it 2 years in a row. If they do it, I wouldn't be that surprised. I have them at 99. They have, if any of their 5 capable starters goes down, they have 2 or 3 other starters that are great replacements and that have playoff experience to go along with incredible lineup that is currently getting better. It's currently better right now than it was this time last year. So I think they're going to end up scoring more runs than last year and giving up less. That bullpen is really good as well.
What about the Angels? I've got them at 91 wins. Okay. I do think they take this giant leap, but I think it has to do with a lot with one player.
Yeah, so I have them taking a leap. I mean, they won 80 games last year. I have them at 88 wins this year. I understand Mike Trout is the best player in the game, but he needs to actually lead this team to the playoffs. They've kind of been absent under his reign.
That's the one player I'm talking about. I think he takes that leap, that next step to be that leader. He's the best player, but I think he's going to lead in the locker room.
So what does he have to do? I mean, he's been doing it offensively. I mean, he did get banged up last year, but he's normally a guy that doesn't get banged up at all.
Tell me I'm crazy about this, but I think this will affect his mindset. He is a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. And to see them come away with a Super Bowl for the first time ever, and the way they went about it, I think he's going to take some of that with him into baseball and show, hey, look, nobody thought the Eagles were winning the Super Bowl this year, but they came out and got it done. They did it with a backup quarterback. There's no reason why we can't win a World Series with the players we have in this locker room. I think he's going to lead them this year.
Yeah, all right. Well, They have great bats. I mean, they did add Justin Upton. I think that's a great addition. He's another guy that needs to stay healthy as well, but if he does, he's going to hit 27, 28 homers and have like 95 RBIs, and hopefully he hits 270, 280. But where's the pitching? I mean, let's assume that Ohtani is not going to be good. They still, because they're going with a 6-man rotation. they have 5 pitchers that I don't feel comfortable with any single one of them. Yeah, they can win any game, but they can also lose any game.
Yeah, Garrett Richards is their number 1. He's more of a number 3.
Yeah, exactly.
3 at best, in my opinion, more for 4.
So, and then okay, let's assume Ohtani is really good. Are they better than the Astros? And I say no. Are they better than the Red Sox? I say no. Are they better than the Indians? I say no. Are they better than the Yankees? I say no. So it's like, where's this team going to be at? And I think they're really interesting. I have them at 88 wins. So I have them making the wild card.
So do I.
But yeah, no, this is a team that frustrates me. And I mean, they honestly, they have the potential to make it all the way to the World Series, but it's going to take a huge leap of faith. I just don't see it happening.
They're also going to need Albert Pujols to kind of go back to being his old self.
He needs to have 35 homers and not hit 230, 240. He needs to hit 280. Yeah, so it's just another thing. Oh, I want to talk about the Mariners a little bit here. This is a team that going into last year, thought we're going to be pretty good. Going in when we did our first podcast, I believe we had our wild card predictions. You had them in the playoffs. I had them just missing, but still, we both had them,
right up there. Yes.
Yeah. I have them going 85 wins this year, but it's not going to be enough to make the playoffs.
More than I have them.
They did get better over the offseason. They got D. Gordon. They should be better, and I feel like James Paxton's finally healthy. That he was good last year. Hopefully, King Felix can be healthy, but I mean,
there can only be 5 playoff teams to start.
Yes.
And then we go down to 4. And if you're looking at the AL, and we'll go into our playoffs in just a minute with the AL after we're done going through the East and the Central as well. But if you're looking at it, are they better than the Yankees? No. Are they better than the Red Sox? No. Are they better than the Astros? No. Are they better than the Angels? Neither of us think so,
maybe,
clearly.
but I don't think so.
Are they better than the Indians?
No.
Are they better than the Twins?
Yeah, I don't think so.
So that's 6 teams right there. That's not even enough teams to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's too many. And we haven't even mentioned the Mariners yet. So they have such a good team that, like you said, Paxton, King Felix is going to be their number 2 now, which I think will help them. I mean, Cano, they just got D. Gordon, but where do they fit in the MLB? Because they just kind of they're stuck in the middle.
It seems like the injury bug keeps hitting him every year. And is King Felix going to have 170 innings this year?
No,
probably not. No. But if he does, then yeah, James Paxton, he's young, but he was not healthy all of last year. So it's like where's their pitching going to come from? And their bullpen is shaky at best. Quickly just mentioning the Athletics. They're predicted for 74 wins by Vegas. I have them at 78. Could possibly squeeze 80 games out. This is just a team. It's one of those nice Billy Bean projects that I could see being successful next year. So congrats,
I have them at 81 wins, basically 500.
So that's cool though. Like
the trade they made with the Yankees last year the Yankees acquired Sonny Gray. They got a player from the Yankees that I'm really, really fond of, and the Yankees traded him because he was injured.
Yeah,
it's Dustin Fowler. He's going to be a really good player in the outfield. Watch out for Dustin Fowler in the outfield for the Athletics. I think he's going to be a really good player for them. And they've also got that hot third baseman. I'm blanking out on his name. Chapman.
Yes.
There we go. Matt Chapman.
Yeah, no, he seems like he'd be like an Adrian Beltre kind of player.
Yes, so he's going to be really good. This is a team on the rise. They're just not there yet. They're still going to be in the bottom third of the standings throughout the MLB, in my opinion. But that being said, every team's got to go through growing pains, and this team is on the rise. Look out for the A's. Who knows? If the Angels get injuries, this team is going to end up second in the division.
Yeah, no, I could see that happening, and also they play in a pitcher-friendly ballpark, and I think they have pitchers that are very boring, but get it done. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to the AL Central here, I'm just going to go ahead with my picks. I have the Indians winning this division. I think this team is absolutely stacked. I feel like, yeah, they did get rid of Jay Bruce, but this team's still really, really good. I love their rotation. They have 4 very capable starters, 4 playoff savvy starters, and they have a Cy Young pitcher. So, I mean, this team, and if they could figure out a way to get Francisco Mejia, their top prospect, into the lineup, they're going to be even better. He's a catcher, but he's not really that good at actually catching. He's just a great power hitter, but they can't move him to DH because of Edwin Encarnacion, and they can't move Edwin to first because of just everybody.
They're stacked.
Yeah, exactly.
They're stacked.
So they need to find a way to get him out winning this division. They're projected by Vegas to have 94.5. I think it's a lot to expect them to have over that, but I expect them to have over 90 wins. So I have them winning the division. The Twins I have at 87. I think this is going to be a team that's going to be very, very good. They're going to compete for the wild card. They even compete for the division, but I think there is a level off from the Indians to the Twins. And then the rest of the division, I don't think there's much after that. White Sox, Royals, Tigers. I have them all at the bottom. The White Sox, I think, could potentially be sneaky. They have a lot of good prospects that they got from the Chris Sale deal.
Do you have it White Sox, Royals, Tigers?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
exactly.
Same here.
And I think the Tigers, Royals very disappointed they weren't able to keep Hosmer. They kept Moustakis, but still, this is a team that they were
back-to-back World Series trips.
Yeah, and then they were having trouble scoring runs last year, and their pitching wasn't as good. I don't see the pitching at all, either in the starters or in the bullpen. And the Tigers, they have the worst pitching I think in the entire American League.
Michael Fulmer's got to get out of there.
Yeah, and they have an outdated version of Miguel Cabrera, an outdated version of Victor Martinez, and Nicholas Castellanos looks like he can be the best player on that team, but they need all three to ball out this year, have them all have 30 home runs, but still
be relatively close.
Still, where's the pitching?
No, there is none. I actually think the Tigers could. And my win picks here do not show that.
Yeah.
But these aren't always going to be accurate. I actually believe that there's a chance the Tigers could end up with the least amount of wins in the MLB instead of the Marlins.
Wow, that's bold. I don't think so. I have the Tigers getting 69 wins.
I have them at 64.
Okay. I have Tigers at 69, Royals at 71, White Sox at 74, Twins 87, Indians 93. How about
I've
you?
got the Twins 94. I've got them winning the division. I do think that they are going to be the surprise team in the AL Central.
Okay.
They added a lot of pieces. They got Lance Lynn. They added a number of pieces this offseason to build on a wild card trip last year that nobody saw.
Mm-hmm.
So their team moving in the right direction. They've got a lot of young talent. So I do like the Twins. They put up 3 runs against the Yankees in that wild card in the first inning. Everything looked like it was going to go their way. I think they're going to be a really good team this year. I've got the Indians at 90 wins. Spoiler alert, I got them just missing the playoffs at 90 wins. The White Sox at 79, the Royals at 76, and the Tigers at 64. But you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I think the Indians and Twins are neck and neck. I just think
Tell me why you have the Twins higher, because the starting pitching, I'm looking at starting pitching, and would you rather have the Twins or the Indians starting pitching?
I'd rather have the Indians starting pitching, but I think that things happen during the season. I think that, all right. Best. I'm gonna reference back to hockey here.
Okay.
But it's just an example. Going into this season, the Rangers were picked as a favorite to win the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
The Devils were picked as a favorite to be in the bottom 5 of the league again.
Yep.
Where are they now?
Rangers are bottom of the Metro.
Mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
And Devils
are fighting for a playoff spot.
Yes.
I think that something along those lines are going to happen. I don't think that the Indians are going to be bad. I just think that the Twins are going to get some ball bounces their way. They're going to have some ball luck, and home runs are going to go their way. They might hit a home run that just barely scrapes the top of the wall to win a game against the Indians. Something like that. It's just going to be minor, but that's going to be the difference in the game. It's going to be a series between them.
I really like their outfield. I like Buxton. I like Rosario. I like Kepler. I have a problem. Miguel Sano, he needs to stay healthy. He needs to stay out of trouble. He seems like he's kind of got that David Ortiz thing going on, but he's got to stay healthy. They might want to think
how could he miss the wild card game?
Yeah, exactly. And maybe they should move him to DH, but then what do they do with Logan Morrison or Joe Mauer?
Yep.
So
who's getting older and can't play first base every day anymore.
Yeah, so what are they going to do about that? I like Barrios, I like Lynn, I like Odorizzi. I think they should have kept Santana, but they have, I think, two really good, 2 B+ pitchers, a couple B- C+ pitchers, but that's the reason why I have them. I actually have them just missing the wild card by 1 game.
All right, so let's move on to the AL East, the second best division in baseball. The best division is in the NL.
Yes.
I think we both agree with that.
Yeah.
Would you just really quick? Would that be the NL West?
Yes.
I believe so as well. Just so we're on the same page there. But going to the AL East, I'm going to go through mine really quickly. No surprise here. I've got the Yankees at 102 wins.
Boo!
I do think that, you know what? I had them at 110. I'm like,
and then I called you out, called you an idiot for it.
But I kept it. And then, you know what? I thought about it for a week because we were going to do it last week. And I'm like, you know what? I changed it this week back to 102. 110 is a little unrealistic. I think 102 is realistic. We talk about pitching. You have a pretty solid starting pitching lineup with Severino, Tanaka, Sonny Gray, CC Sabathia, and Jordan Montgomery as your 5, but who knows if you'll trade for a starting pitcher, and they've got the best bullpen in the league again. So I think that that's going to go a long way with all their additions. The Red Sox at 93 wins, the Blue Jays at 75, the Orioles at 70, and the Rays at 60.
Okay. So I have the Red Sox finishing first in the division.
You changed it on me, didn't you?
Yeah, I know this is no surprise coming to you out here. The Red Sox fan picks the Red Sox, Yankees fan picks the Yankees. But I actually had the Yankees.
He did.
We were going to do this a month ago, and then every single week I had the Yankees. I just dropped their win total a little bit by a little bit by a little bit. And the reason why I put the Red Sox
I didn't
ahead,
even know you switched until today.
Yeah. So the reason why I switched the Red Sox finishing first is this team won the division last year, and they got better. They had 93 wins last year, and I think they got a lot better with adding J.D. Martinez to the squad. They now have that home run power. This will help out Hanley Ramirez significantly because he now has the protection he needed, which he did not have last year. Mookie Betts had a very off year, and he was still a top 10 player in baseball. So that's
he's a phenomenal player.
So that is absolutely insane. And this is a necessity for the Red Sox to do what I think they're going to do. David Price has to be A2. Chris Sale's A1. David Price has to be A2, and I think he will be based on how he performed at the end of last year in the bullpen and coming out with strong 4-inning bullpen performances in the playoffs. I think Porcello needs to go back to his Cy Young-like year, not have that same exact year, but he needs to keep his ERA under 4. And I think Pomeranz is a very good number 4 starter. Eduardo Rodriguez a very good number 5 starter. However, they're kind of dinged up right now. They both need to come back. So I thought they were going to get hot out of the gate and just kind of maintain for the rest of the year. I don't know if they're going to have that hot start anymore.
To me, the Yankees and Red Sox are basically even. I know that my win totals don't show that. I could have changed the Red Sox to go up a couple. They could have 97, 98, 99. They could even break 100 this year.
Yeah, so I have the Sox hitting 96 wins this year, up from 93. And I have the Yankees at 95. So I want to just go for the Yankees and why I put them down a little bit. I know they got better offensively with Stan, absolutely, and they're probably the scariest 2-3-4 lineup where you have Judge batting second, Stanton batting third, and Gary Sanchez batting fourth. That's absolutely insane.
Who actually, Gary Sanchez has the most home runs over the 162 game span over both of those players.
And people don't even realize that. So that's why I think Sanchez is the best one out of the three.
I agree.
As far as hitting goes, anyway.
I think player period.
But what bothers me is their pitching. If I was a Yankees fan, I'd be nervous because I like Severino if I'm a Yankees fan. But I need him to be the ace. I need him to be not just as good as Chris Sale, but almost as good as Chris Sale, be just as good as Chris Archer, maybe from the Rays. He needs to be that kind of player. I don't know if he's going to be that player this year. Tanaka, he needs to rebound from a mediocre 2017 because if he has the same year as last year, I promise you it's not going to go well for the Yankees at all. CC Sabathia, he's not going to have that 2017.
He's going to be the number 4 starter.
He's not going to have that kind of year. And do you really I like Sonny Gray and I like Jordan Montgomery, but those are the kind of pitchers where they have great upside, but their floor is super super low and they can get rocked really quick and it's tough to get them out of that. The thing that bails them out and why I think even if their starting pitching isn't that great, they have the best bullpen in the MLB.
Oh, without question. But Sonny Gray could be a number 1. He was number 1 for Oakland.
Yeah,
he could be
was.
a number 1 for other teams.
But that was before his injury.
And he's still young though.
Yeah, no,
he's got a lot of potential. I love him at the number 3. CC, I agree with. I think he's going to have a down year. Not a down year in that sense. A down year from last year, basing off last year's stats, but I think he's going to be a good fill for the number 4. I don't think Jordan Montgomery lasts. I think that Jordan Montgomery ends up back in the minors this year or traded. Yeah. I think CC ends up at the 5, and I know this is a bold statement here, very bold statement, but the Yankees have the pieces to get it done. Chris Archer becomes the number 1 pitcher for the Yankees this year, and he's going to end up in pinstripes.
No way. The Rays are not trading in division. That wouldn't happen middle of the season.
There have already been reports and rumors and talks that this has been talked about, and it's something the Yankees have been looking at for months now, and it's a real high possibility come July. When that trade deadline comes, that Chris Archer ends up in pinstripes, I wouldn't be surprised as I would have been last year.
teams don't trade in division, though. That's the thing.
Which is why the Orioles still have Machado. Where's Machado going to end up next year? I know we're talking about this year, but I'm just
what I'm telling you though is the team is not going to trade him to an in-division rival. They're going to trade him out of the division. They may be on the Yankees next year, but I'm telling you right now, I can promise you the Rays will not be trading to the Yankees for anything.
Well, Chris Archer can't be a free agent next year. He's got at least 4 more years left on his deal for like $31 million.
Yeah, so
it's a great cap hit.
He's not going to be on the Yankees.
But the Yankees have the pieces to get it done. And if they were to offer a Clint Frazier and Miguel Andujar and say Jordan Montgomery plus a first-round pick,
that wouldn't even be worth it though.
For who?
That for Chris Archer, I don't think you tear up the farm for that.
I'm just saying that they do have the pieces to get it done. You're probably right. If I were the Yankees, I'm giving up Jordan Montgomery and Clint Frazier, and that's it. I wouldn't add a Miguel Andujar, but I'm just saying they do have the pieces to get it done. They could entice the Rays to trade within division, so I wouldn't be as surprised. But that's the one. I think you hit the nail on the head. As a Yankees fan, I'm worried. They have the pitching, but is it going to hold up? Tanaka could be an ace. Severino could be an ace. Sonny Gray could be an ace. But will they be the ace?
Yeah.
That's the question.
And I think that also on the offensive side, they need to be waiting for Bird and Torres and Andujar because I think all 3 of those players have the potential to really just tear it up. And that lineup, if they have it, I wrote it out. Gardner, Judge, Stanton, Sanchez, Bird, Andujar, Gregorius, Torres, and Hicks.
That's scariest lineup in the league.
That's pretty scary. It's the potential to be the scariest. But I think and this is why I give the Red Sox another edge. Their lineup is already dangerous. They're not adding anything to their lineup. It's already
set in stone.
It's already set in stone. And the same thing with the Astros. Why I put the Astros at a notch above the Yankees in the regular season. That lineup's already set in stone. And that lineup's already balled out.
So I asked you in the first segment. I'm going to ask you right now. I want the answer. You just said 96, 95 for the Red Sox Yankees. Does this season come down to the last series to win the division? 3-game series, September 28th through the 30th.
So I think it might come down to that. I have the Red Sox, like you said, just beating the Yankees in the division by 1 game. But I could see the Yankees sweeping that division because the Red Sox already clinched, and that's how I think it happens.
Okay, I honestly think that it could come down to that last weekend, but that's the thing that we're talking about. This is what's going to get that rivalry going again, and that's why I'm so pumped. That's why we're both so pumped.
Yeah.
Because this could actually happen. Could it be as historically great? I think so. Is it possible that not? Yeah, of course. Of course, anything's possible. But no, regardless, this rivalry is coming back in some fashion, and that's why we're so excited because it's the best rivalry in sports.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I want to talk about the Blue Jays a little bit here. I think this is a very interesting team because I think they have 4 very capable starting pitching. I would say at the same level as the Twins or the same notch below the Indians as far as starting pitching goes. 4 really good starting pitching. But their lineup, I mean, even if Donaldson goes off, where are the runs going to come from? Tulowitzki is completely injury prone. Justin Smoke is a good player, but he's not enough to replace Edwin Encarnacion. I mean, I think they'll be competitive through July, but where's this team going?
They're not going anywhere, in my opinion. I think that they blow this team up.
They did. It was a couple years ago. This lineup was insanely.
Everybody
dangerous.
thought they were going to win the World Series after they made that trade to get Tulowitzki a couple of years back.
And didn't they get Price?
Price as well, yes.
So
and they went all in to win, and they just couldn't get it done in the playoffs. This team is going to go through rebuilding again, in my opinion.
I have them at 84 wins and finishing 3rd in the division.
I think that if they are back far enough by the trade deadline, Sanchez is going to be traded because they can get a huge haul for him. Donaldson will be traded. Tulowitzki possibly, although they won't get as much for him now because he is getting older. He's injury prone. But I think that they give off a lot of their talent. Marcus Stroman could be traded too. So you just never know with the Blue Jays. They're a wild card, but I think they're going to trend towards the bottom of the league this year.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I think that
they're going to surprise people at the beginning of the year because of their pitching, though. I think J.A. Happ is pretty good. Stroman's good.
It's possible, but once all the teams get in the in the thick of things and everything gets rolling and the ball gets rolling, I think the Blue Jays will start to fall off. Do you want to jump into the AL playoffs, or do you want to do the playoffs as a whole and move right into the NL?
I just want to talk about the Orioles and the Rays super quickly. The Rays, what are they doing?
Nothing.
Like
They're done.
they got rid of Dickerson, they got rid of Souza for like
And
pennies
Archer's
on the
next,
dollar.
I'm telling
Archer, yeah, no, I do agree with you. With Archer is going to be leaving. What are they doing? I don't understand it. They're projected for 77 wins by Vegas. Are they going to get to 70? I have them at 70.
What does my facial expression say?
They're done.
I have no idea what they're doing.
And the Orioles, I like their offense, but we're no pitching at all. Even though they signed Cobb, there's no pitching at all. And is Machado, is he going to get back into form? Because if he gets back into form where he's going to be hitting 320.
And he's going to be playing shortstop this year now.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, this offense has a chance to make it a contender. But, I mean, I don't know. But, all right. So, I have Orioles finishing 4th, Rays finishing dead last in division. Let's go into the playoffs a little bit here.
All right. Well, who do you got in the wild card for the AL?
For the AL, I have the Yankees as the number 1 wild card team, and they will be facing up against the Angels. I have the Yankees winning that game. I'm looking at starting pitching first for a 1-game series. Severino beats Ohtani. Severino beats Garrett Richards. So no matter who it
Severino
is,
beats anybody who is facing on the Angels.
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah. So
I agree with that. Although I have the Red Sox Angels.
You have Red Sox Angels. All right, tell me what you got with that.
I've got the Red Sox moving on, so we both have the Angels moving.
Chris Sale is going to win in a 1-game
exactly.
series.
Exactly. There's no chance. That's the one thing I don't like about baseball is that 1-game series.
Yeah, that should be a 3-game series.
Agreed. 100% agreed on that. But going into the divisional round, Yankees are going to be my 1st seed, Astros 2nd, Twins 3rd, Red Sox 4th now because they won that game. So we'll see a Yankees-Red Sox divisional series matchup, and we're going to see a Twins-Astros divisional series matchup.
Okay, I have the Astros will be playing. They'll have the number 1 overall seed. They'll be playing the Yankees, who will come from the wild card, and then I have Red Sox Indians as the 2-3.
Okay, all right. So a little bit different. Who wins those series and who makes it to the ALCS?
So I have the Yankees beating the Astros in 5 games. I think the Yankees will get it done in Houston on that final game, and I have the Indians beating the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox will choke that game at home in the bottom of the 9th. So I have Indians in 5 and I have Astros in 5, and that has the Yankees in 5 and Indians in 5. So it'll be Yankees Indians in the ALCS.
Okay, all right. So you got the Yankees moving on ahead of the Red Sox. Okay.
Yes, I do. Simply because of matchup, and I don't think. I mean, until it's proven that the Red Sox can play well in August and September, they prove to me, hey, we're the best team in baseball in April and May and June. But after that, I after the All-Star break, I started losing faith in this team.
Well, like I said, I have the Yankees facing the Red Sox, Twins facing the Astros. I've got the Astros-Yankees facing off again in the ALCS.
Okay.
I did not pick games, but if I had to say, I would say the Red Sox lose in 5. That's
Okay.
going 5.
Yep.
The Astros will sweep the Twins.
Okay.
So
you have Astros and
Yankees.
Yankees
again.
okay.
And this time, this is something I was talking about in my rant, and I want to touch on it very, very, very quickly, is what happens last year if the Yankees have home field over the Astros, which is what I'm predicting this year. The Yankees the number 1, the Astros the number 2. The Yankees have home field. The Yankees, like I said, only won 1 game on the road, and that was the Indians to move on. Every other game on the road they lost last year in the playoffs. But they won every single home game.
Yeah.
What happens if the Yankees were home last year and the Astros were away? Are the Astros World Series champions? Do they even make it to the World Series? What's going to happen this year? Home field advantage is going to play a part, and I got the Yankees moving on because of that. The Yankees will be headed to the World Series this year, as a lot of people are predicting.
Okay, yeah. So no, I disagree with you because the Astros, in my mind, were the best team in the American League last year, even better than the Indians. I mean, the Indians, yeah, they had that number 1 seed, but I mean, we saw them crumble in the playoffs. So yeah, I thought the Astros were the best team. I thought they had like
the deepest team.
The deepest, sure. Yeah, exactly. And I think this team is better than last year's team. So even if that ends up happening, I mean, I had the Yankees beating the Astros too. So, but not because of home field. I mean, the Astros will have home field in my ALDS if they matched up like that. I think the Yankees would still beat them. But last year, I disagreed because the Yankees team, I don't think was ready for the big moment to because they're a bunch of young guys and they need to. I think last year making it to the ALCS was perfect for them to build up onto this year.
I can't disagree with you, and that's why I don't know what would have happened I can't say that they would have won, but I'm just looking back at last year. If they were so inexperienced last year and they won every home game, but only could win one on the road, if they have the number 1 seed this year and they've got 4 home games in every playoff series except for the 5-game series, which they'll have 3 home games. If they can win every home game, then they're winning the World Series this year with a number 1 seed overall, which I've predicted at a league high 102 wins, which is why I wanted to make that point. But I do agree with you. You can't really guess on that, but it is an interesting stat.
All right, what's your ALCS? You have Yankees and
Astros, and I've got the Yankees moving on.
Okay, I have the Yankees and the Indians, and I have the Indians moving on in 6 games. The reason why, I don't like the Yankees pitching. Even if Severino is an ace, I don't think Tanaka is going to be. I don't think CeCe is going to be. I don't think Sonny Gray is going to be. I think they're all going to be fine pitchers. Well, not CeCe. I think Tanaka and Sonny Gray will be fine, but they're not going to be as good as the 2, 3, 4 are for the Indians. And I put Kluber ahead of Severino as well. So I know they got to Kluber last year in Game 5, but I think that's because they were working him way too much.
I think the Astros have the best pitching, which is weird because neither of us have them going to the World Series.
Yeah, no, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't getting knocked out by the Yankees. I don't know. I just don't think they can do it again. So I have the Indians in 6. Okay, I have the Indians in 6. So yeah, Indians in my World Series. Tell me your American League MVP.
My American League MVP is going to be Mike Trout. Solely because there are going to be so many players, but the Yankees are star-studded. The Red Sox are star-studded. It's not going to be one player who drives them. For the Angels, if they make the playoffs, it is going to be because of Mike Trout. We both have them making the playoffs this year.
Yep.
I think Mike Trout's going to drive that train, and I think it deserves another MVP award.
Yes, I have AL MVP is going to be Aaron Judge. I mean, I think he's going to have another fantastic
I want you to take that right back now. I don't want you to jinx it. Take it back.
No, I'm not.
Take it back.
I'm
All
not,
right, you know what?
I'm not.
I have the entire Red Sox organization as the AL MVP. How's
Good.
that?
I mean, it'll probably happen. No, but Aaron Judge, I mean, I don't think he's going to hit 50 homers, but I think he'll hit 45, and I could see him hitting. I think he's going to strike out less because
I hope so.
When he strikes out, it's not like he's striking out on 3 or 4 pitches. He's striking out on 6, 7, 8, 9 pitches. And I think he's going to get a lot more walks because people are going to treat him a little bit differently. So and he's more disciplined. Like, people were not expecting him the first half of the year. They adjusted in the second half. He got out a lot more. His batting average went from like 330 to like 280. Huge drop. I don't think he's going to have that significant of a drop. I think he's going to hit 290. I think he's going to 290, 300, and he's going to hit about 45 home runs and drive in about 110 guys, 120 guys. I think that's going to be enough for the MVP season. I think Cy Young. I have Chris Sale. I mean,
so do I.
Yeah,
so we agree on that.
He is so dominant. He just needs to. They need to lay him off a little bit in May and April.
There's not June. A better pitcher in the AL than Chris Sale,
and they need him to be doing those 8-9 inning games in August or September and in October. That's what they need from him, and that's what the Indians got out of Corey Kluber last year. Instead of having his good April, he was actually hurt a little bit, and I think that injury actually helped him and helped the Indians, because he was dominant late.
I don't think at the top of his game, I don't think that there's another pitcher, just not in the AL, but in major leagues, besides Clayton Kershaw, that is on the level of Chris Sale. I think he is that good.
No, I agree.
And when I face him as a Yankees fan, when the Yankees face him as a fan, when I'm watching that game, I'm going into that game thinking, all right, the Yankees are probably going to get a couple hits, no runs, and they're going to lose this game. Chris Sale's on the mound. It's just natural.
Yeah.
He's that good. He's a scary pitcher. He's winning the Cy Young without question for me this year. You want to move on to National League?
Yeah, National League West, I have the Dodgers. They're predicted for 96.5 wins. I don't think they're going to get that. Their division is way too freaking brutal. We mentioned it earlier. I think they're going to get 92 wins, and I think it's going to be enough to win that division because they're all just gonna murder each other. The Giants, this is the team that I had winning the division before the Mad Bum injury. They're only projected for 81.5 wins by Vegas.
I got them at 81.
Yeah, that's low to me. I think they're going to be closer to 88. And I think when Mad Bum comes back, they're really going to make a push for that huge wild card spot. The Diamondbacks I have at third. They're going to miss the loss of JD Martinez. It's not gonna break them, but I don't believe in Robbie Ray and Zach Greinke to keep this team afloat for the entire year.
They're playing in the hardest division of baseball.
Yeah, and I have the Rockies at 4. Now, this is no slight to the Rockies. I mean, I have them winning 83 games, but I just can't trust them in this ballpark. Their offense is absolutely nasty. but I question their pitchers. If this team, like, take all the players in Colorado and put them in San Diego's ballpark, I would love the San Diego Padres. I think that team would be really awesome because they play in Colorado, the altitude. I can't not get behind this team to win 95 games. And
I've got them at 93, spoiler alert. And I've got them winning the NL West this year.
Wow. So, all right. So, who's second then?
Dodgers at 92, 1 game back.
Okay, so we both have Dodgers at the same amount of wins.
Yeah, I've got the Giants at 81, which is now I'm 2 for 2 with guessing right. And by the way, I don't know about you, I did not look at projections when I did this. I did this off of what I thought with the outcome of free agent signing places and things of that nature, and right on the money with the Giants and and who else was it? 77, the Rangers.
Rockies.
No, Rangers, I got it right.
Oh, Rangers, yes.
But going back to it, yeah, Rockies 93, Dodgers 92, Giants 81, Diamondbacks 80, and I've got the Padres at 72 wins. I know they're trying to improve, but now they're in the toughest division in baseball with all of those teams improving.
I think they're getting better, but it's like they're gonna go from whatever they had last year to like 70. I have them at 74 wins this year. So
all right, so 2 off of what I had. I got 72. Yeah. We're right in the same ballpark.
All right, let's go to the NL. Let's go to the NL Central. I see what you did there. NL Central. I had the Cubs. Look, they're projected for 94.5 wins this
94.
year. I have them at 95, so we had that prediction right on the money. But you know what? They look a lot more relaxed going into this year. They have more pitching depth. And Bryant and Rizzo are coming off of down years last year, and they still won their division. I think this team's going to be a lot better. I had the Cardinals coming in second in this division. This is the kind of culture they just figure it out. Marcell Ozuna is a good signing. I am concerned about their pitching, but this is the kind of organization that they figure it out as the year goes around. The Brewers I have third. I have them winning 86 games. They're going to be a very competitive team this year, but I just don't think they're going to be able to handle the Cubs or handle the Cardinals. They're going to stick around. They'll be in it in July and in August, but I think they're going to falter a little bit down the end. I don't really love their pitching. Where's their pitching going to come from?
I was going to ask the same question about the Cardinals.
Yeah, Brewers pitching might be a little bit better right now. Zach Davies is pretty good, and I know they have Chase Anderson. He was doing pretty well last year before he got hurt. But I just don't see it. Pirates, bottom of the barrel. They got Corey Dickerson. That's a nice signing. But I don't have them. I got them at 72 wins. And the Reds, they have a great offense, but there's
no pitching.
No pitching at all. They might have the worst pitching in the MLB, honestly.
I've got them at 78 wins for some reason.
The Reds?
Yeah.
Wow.
I do. I've got the Pirates at 76.
Wow.
I've got the Cubs at 94. The Brewers at 89, just missing the playoffs.
Okay.
And I got the Cardinals at 84.
Okay, so we basically got the same thing. Cardinals and Brewers are switched.
Yeah, but the thing that I like about the Cubs, you kind of mentioned it in being more relaxed.
Yeah.
They don't have the pressure of repeating.
No.
That is huge.
Yeah, and I think that's why they can make a big run. And their bullpen's pretty good. I like their bullpen.
They are stacked. I think the pressure of, all right, we finally won. You think the pressure's off. You don't have to win now. But now you kind of have to do. You have this stacked team. You just won a World Series. You went over 100 years without one.
Yep.
Now your fans want to see another one. You are this good. Your team's not always going to be this good. They want to see it. They had a down year, kind of stumbled. Even though they won the division, I think not winning last year is giving that whole team a chip on their shoulder.
No, I agree. All right, let's move on to the NL East. Washington Nationals, they're projected for 92 wins. I have them with the most wins in baseball, 101 wins. Woo. I think this team is absolutely amazing. Their lineup is incredible. Amazing pitching staff. I think Max Scherzer he's great. But can Strasburg and Harper finally live up to their high school, college level of expectations? I mean, this is the best rotation in baseball. This is a very good bullpen. Their bullpen is the best in the National League, in my opinion. And they finally get Adam Eaton back from last year. Victor Robles, their top prospect. He will be fun to watch in like June or July whenever they bring him up. This team is absolutely amazing. Trey Turner, I think he's doing.
Is this a one-team division?
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing is here. So I have, against my better judgment, the Mets finishing second. I have them with 85 wins.
86.
But this is a kind of team. The reason why I put it at 85 is because, to me, this is a team that is either going to. I think there's no way that they have 85 or 86 wins. I think this is a team that they either have 90 or they either have 70 because they're relying on so many things to go right. They're relying on Cespedes to be the player that he can be. They're relying on Syndergaard and DeGrom and Harvey and Matz and Wheeler all to be healthy. This is the first time the 5 of them have all been healthy at the same time. Can that be maintained? Todd Frazier, I think he's going to take that leadership role in the clubhouse. So
excellent signing.
So Cespedes doesn't have to answer all those questions. I think it's going to be very good for that team. So because Cespedes, he's kind of a hothead, but he's a great defender, and he needs to bring his bat around. He needs to. It's funny. I was watching MLB TV today, and they were saying that Cespedes, he's an avid golfer. He's like an addict when it comes to golfing. He used to golf every day last year, even when he was injured. He has agreed not to be golfing this year. So I think that's why I'm leaning more towards the Mets maybe being better than expected. But this is a team, I could see them having 70 wins, and they could be competing for the bottom of the barrel of the division with the Marlins. So it's crazy to me what this Mets team can do.
They have so much talent. They have the top prospect in baseball going to join their team this year, Ahmad Rosario.
Yes.
I'm sure you've actually called games with him in them as well over at Roger Dean Stadium. Through our school, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, we actually had the opportunity to go out and call minor league baseball games. We did our own research. It was excellent. It was amazing. Great time. We'll actually post pictures on the Facebook page of us out there doing it. I don't know if you do have pictures of yourself.
I might have a couple.
I know I have at least 1 or 2 with headset on in the press box. Pretty cool. It's just something to show you guys. But moving forward, the top prospect in baseball, Ahmad Rosario, shortstop. He's going to start off slow. That's my opinion. But he's going to catch fire eventually. He's going to be a really good player for this team moving forward. Same with Dominic Smith, their first baseman. Again, another player that I've seen play live for the St. Lucie Mets, high A ball. He was there, I think there's second or third best prospect. He's now in the majors. Michael Conforto already came up, who we've seen play over at St. Lucie Mets as well. So they have all this young talent that's on this team too to go along with the pitching and Cespedes. They brought back Jay Bruce, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, they just went to the World Series a couple years ago.
Yeah, this team is a good team. They just have been hampered by injuries, and you know, I almost feel bad for them because they've had such bad luck since '86. But who knows what's going to happen? I've got the Nationals at 98 wins and the Mets at 86. This is a 1-team division. There's no chance any team wins the division except for the Nationals this year.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I want to move on to the Braves and the Phillies. I think these are 2 of very interesting teams in baseball where they were terrible for a little while. They built up some prospects, and I think they both have a lot of potential. I have the Braves at 77 and the Phillies at 76. I can see the Braves or Phillies finishing second in this division. I mean, we just talked about the Mets. They could have huge injury troubles, but even though they have the highest upside. I think the Phillies are 1 game worse than the Braves, but I just love what they're doing. I like Rhys Hoskins on the Phillies. I like what's his name, the top prospect, Ronald Acuna for the Braves. He looks.
Will we see him this year?
Yes, we will. We will sometime in June, mid-May or early June.
Is it one of those situations again where they don't want to burn a year off, so they're putting him in the minors,
absolutely,
and he can come up at a certain date? So that
the Braves, they're not going to compete this year. They're going to compete next year. But they need to get him.
They're on the right path.
Yeah, they needed to get him some MLB action. And then I have the Marlins. They're projected for 64.5 wins. I don't know how the hell they're going to get that number. I have them at 59, which I think is still a little bit too high. But
wait till you hear mine.
What do you got?
Take a guess. I just want you to take one guess.
By the way you're saying it, 40. I don't even know how low you could go. I'm going to say you have them at 49 or 50.
41 wins for the Marlins, give or take. But here's the kicker.
Oh my God,
That's
insane.
Here's the kicker. Here is the absolute kicker with that, though.
Okay.
There is a possibility of the Tigers or the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, or the Tampa Bay Rays, they're called now, to actually
they're the Devil Rays
to really actually take over that, and we could see the Marlins get 65 wins, and those 2 teams be in the low 60s.
You think they have a chance
50.
to get 65 wins?
I'm saying that anything could happen. All those players have a chip on their shoulder. I'm the one who's saying they're going to get 40 wins.
If they have 65 wins, they don't have 100 losses. I say they get 100 losses.
It's most likely, yes, but you put yourself in that locker room.
If you did not live down here in South Florida, you could not name a single player on that team. Could you name a single player on that team right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No,
One. Starlin Castro, and he's traded from the Yankees. But in all seriousness, it doesn't. I don't have to be able to name a player. Put yourself in that locker room. If somebody's telling, all right, how many people have told us over the course of the last 7 months, you're doing a great job, but it's probably not going to go anywhere. Yeah, well, guess what? Screw you. We're going to continue to work hard.
Yeah, that's
we know
true.
we have the talent to go somewhere. It just takes work.
So you think the Marlins have that kind of mentality?
They need to. And
They
if
could be like the team like how the Jets were. Oh, they were supposed to go 0-16.
Yeah, and then they win 5 games. They could have won 9.
Yeah.
In reality, there's so many close games. So something
we'll
like
see.
that. Yes.
Maybe because they're such huge underdogs, a lot of teams will overlook them, and then
Just be wary, but in all reality, I have them at 41 wins.
All right, what's your playoffs looking like?
Really quick, I'm just gonna run through them all.
What's your wild card game?
All right, wild card Dodgers Brewers. I got Dodgers moving on.
Okay, I have the Giants and the Cardinals. I have the Giants beating the Cardinals. I think because when Mad Bum comes back, he's going to beat any pitcher, either on the Cardinals or if it happens to be the Brewers, the Brewers.
I could see that. I just think with that injury, that's going to be too much to overcome in the beginning of the season.
I could see it, man. I could see it.
Unfortunately, I like the Giants. I really do.
All right, what's your NLDS looking like?
NLDS, I got Nationals Dodgers 1-4. I got Nationals moving on. Rockies Cubs 3-2. We got the upset. The Rockies are going to move on to the NLCS this year.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No. I have Washington and the Giants. I think Washington beats the Giants in 4 games. I think if Washington is in a situation where they have to win a game 5 or a game 7, they're not going to do it. So they're going to have to win it in 4. I have Chicago Cubs beating the Los Angeles Dodgers in 5. Dodgers, I don't think they're good. I don't think they're a great team this year. Kershaw, they have that one pitcher, but I mean,
who's after that?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
my NLCS, I have Washington beating the Chicago Cubs in 6 games. What about you?
I've got the Nationals and Rockies.
So we both have. We both have the Nationals in the NLCS.
Yes.
Okay.
And to no surprise here, I've got the Nationals moving on. They're going to beat the Rockies. That'll be in 6 games.
So we both have the Nationals winning in 6 games to go to the World Series.
Yes.
And your World Series is Washington and New York.
Yeah, which is my prediction last year, and it was kind of crazy last year. This year it's more realistic.
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
Picking the Yankees to go to the World Series last year, yes, I would.
But this year, no, I'm saying last year versus this year. It's my same exact pick.
Yeah,
this
no,
year
I would say this year it's more realistic because the Yankees have way more of a realistic shot going into the year than going into last year.
Okay, cool.
World Series, I have the Washington Nationals beating the Cleveland Indians in 6 games. 2 teams that both need it like blood. I think the Nationals are going to do it. I think this team is amazing. My NL MVP, this will shock you. Trey Turner. He's going to be the reason why. He's going to overtake Bryce Harper as the best player on this team. He needs to stay healthy, and I think he will. But he is homegrown here from Boynton Beach, Lake Worth, Florida. He went to my high school. He was the grade above me. I actually had a couple classes with him. It's absolutely insane that somebody that I had conversations with. I played Little League with this kid.
I trust me. I get it because I grew up with Trevor Van Riemsdyk, who's now a Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah.
And we played on the same team together for many years.
So I think he is going to be the NL MVP. I think he's going to be the reason why Washington is so good and why they win the World Series this year. And my NL Cy Young is going to be Max Scherzer. And Dark Horse to winning the Cy Young. And this is why I put the Mets as maybe doing really well. Noah Syndergaard. Watch out for him.
I like the Noah Syndergaard pick. I'm going to go cliche here. Clayton Kershaw, he's the best pitcher in the game.
I don't blame you at all.
If he's healthy, he's going to win every year. It's kind of like LeBron James.
Yep.
They stopped giving LeBron James MVPs because he's so damn good. That's probably what's going to happen to Kershaw.
Yeah.
I think they already said that his numbers are 4th best ever in the game so far, and he's
getting better every year.
He's not even 30. So, but my NL MVP is going to be Nolan Arenado because he's going to bring the Rockies as far as they come.
I like it.
I think he is going to be the best player in the National League this year. He is such a good player. If he was not in Colorado and he was on even the Mets, the notoriety that he's getting out in New York would
he'd be a household name.
Exactly. So I have the Yankees Nationals in the World Series this year, and I really wanted to pick the Nationals, but
you want to be a homer at the same time.
But but call me a homer, and I picked the Yankees, but it's because of the home field. And it's for what I was talking about last year. If the Nationals have more wins, I'm predicting this. But if I want to throw this out there because I don't want to be the homer. If the Nationals end up with the home field, and this is the matchup, and the Nationals get 4 games at home, and the Yankees get 3, then I think the Nationals win the World Series. I think it goes to the home field field team. I did not want to be the homer.
They need to go back to having the All-Star game mean something. I love it. I know it's completely arbitrary, and a lot of people don't like it. It's kind of pointless. I think it just brings so much drama to the All-Star game. It's a dumb way, I guess, to pick home field, but it's freaking awesome.
I'm gonna throw out this little stat.
Okay.
I was going to bring it up next segment, but I think it makes sense for right now. It's not really a question. It's more of a statement. The Yankees won the World Series in 1938, 20 years later in 1958, 20 years later in 1978, 20 years later in 1998. Now we're 20 years later in 2018. Will the trend continue? They also won in 2000.
If it is, it's rigged. If it is, it's rigged. I'm calling it now.
They also won in 1928 before this all thing started. But rigged. It seems like all the 8 years are the years that the Yankees win. Every 20 years they win on the 8th. So I think that is going to go a long way. Hey, you know
Absolutely
what? Can we
rigged.
say it's rigged for the Giants? They won in 2010, 2012, 2014.
But
I'm pretty sure they missed the playoffs in 11
They didn't win in 2016, though.
Yeah,
so.
But
it stops eventually.
Yeah, it stops eventually. Exactly. I hope it doesn't stop for the Yankees this year as a fan. But I mean, is it rigged? They didn't make the playoffs in 11 and 13.
It's true.
It happens. But coming up next is our last segment of the day. I know this has been a long show, but sometimes shows got to be long because
we got to put in the work. We can't just leave out the good information.
No. We can make it an hour show and give you half the information. Or we can make it an hour and a half show today and give you all the information.
Yeah.
We're gonna go a little bit longer. But coming up next,
You're welcome.
we got our final quarter.
Do you have the overwhelming urge to advertise something where it'll only reach 100 people? Well, don't we have the perfect thing for you? Right here, we will sell you this 30-second spot for whatever commercial you want, as long as you let us put this music with it. This music will be by Audionautics and Jason Shaw. Isn't this music fantastic? We sure think so, and that's why we're going to make you listen to it for a few more seconds. Now, back to the greatest sports podcast ever to be conceived.
And we're back here on BTH, and we just went over the MLB predictions. Who's going to win? Who's going to win the World Series this year?
Nationals.
I mean, yeah, right.
Go Sox. Go Sox.
Go Sox. I'm a New Yorker. But go Yanks. Go Yanks. But anyway, I mean, best segment of the day, the final quarter. I don't even want to recap what we just did. It was 50 minutes of predictions.
You already know. You just listened to it.
So, but something we did not mention in the last segment, which we're going to start off the final quarter with.
Okay.
Sean, start your engines. No, I'm just kidding. Start the timer, Sean.
It is starting right now.
3, 2, 1.
Boom.
Will Tim Tebow see the majors this year for the New York Mets?
Absolutely not. He has no chance. He's not an MLB player. I don't even know why we continue to give this credence. I mean, but hey, people think so. People want it to be talked about. And we are men of the people. But no, he's not.
I think he makes it. I think the Mets are going to go through a little bit of injury trouble. They're going to get to the 80-win mark like we had mentioned before, I think. But that being said, they're going to be so far out of the race because of the Nationals are going to be so far ahead of them. They're going to bring up Tebow. He's going to sell jerseys. He's going to bring fans to the stadium. More tickets are going to be sold. He is going to be a moneymaker for them. This is not about baseball at this point. It's about making money. It's about, from a business standpoint, it's a good business move for the Mets. I think he makes it up. He's going to be a September call-up.
All right, next question. Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton both play for the same team now. They both had over 50 home runs last year. Where will they break 100 homers together this year, James?
No, they won't. As a Yankees fan,
What?
I think.
How are you saying this?
I think Judge gets to 38 this year, and I think Stanton has 43, which is going to be a step back from last year. But 59 and 52 home runs does not come around very often. There's a reason why we hadn't seen 50 home runs in almost 10 years. So
I think they're both gonna have in the 40s. I think Judge is gonna have 45. I think he's gonna win the AL MVP. I think
AL MVP.
Sorry, AL MVP. And I think
tired?
Yeah, sorry. It is a little late. What is it, 8:30 right now?
Yeah, and
so,
I mean, I've been at work since 8:30 this morning. You've been at work since when?
Yeah, since 6:30. So
Exactly.
it's been a long day. But no, I still think Stan's gonna have 40 homers. Together they're gonna have about 85, 90 homers, but they're not gonna crack a 100.
All right. Who will win the Yankees-Sox season series this year?
See, I think it's going to come down to the Boston Red Sox because I think they're going to get off to that hot start. That's really what I think it comes down to. It also matters what's the pitching matchups going to look like? Is it going to be Sale against Severino, or is Severino going to face somebody like Eduardo Rodriguez, or is Sale going to face somebody like CC Sabathia? That's something that we don't know. It's impossible for us to predict. But just because I think the Red Sox pitching is better, and I think their hitting right now is better, I think they're going to get off to a larger tally at the beginning of the year, and they'll maintain. Will they play 19 times? I'm saying 10-9.
He took the words right out of my mouth, but we got it backwards. I'm saying Yankees 10-9. So,
all right.
But you know what? It shows how equal these teams are, and it shows that rivalry is coming back. I'm gonna keep pounding that in this podcast.
I'm not saying the rivalry is not coming back. I'm just saying it's not going to be good as it used to be. All right, next question. Will the Astros be the team to beat in the American League again this year?
Regular season wise, actually no. I have them at 101 wins. Will they be a team to beat? Yes, but I do have the Yankees at 102.
All right. This is why you piss me off, because before off the air you were saying no, we absolutely disagree on this, and now you're backtracking for on the air and saying no, they are the team to beat.
No,
because I was about to go off on you about how you think they're not the team to beat. How are they not the team to beat? Because they just won the World Series.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
that
you just changed your mind when we were talking about it off the air. You were saying.
I'm saying right now that in the regular season they could be a team to beat. But overall, I have the Yankees ahead of them this year. And if I have to pick one team, it's the Yankees in the AL.
But they're not the Yankees are not the team to beat. They're just a team that's going to be really good. It has to be the Astros. They are the team to beat in the American League.
Because they're world champions.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. All right.
And how are you? You piss me off because you're changing your mind from when we talked about it outside to right now. You piss me off, man.
All right. But I still don't think they're the team to beat.
Wow, you're insane. This team is better going into this year than they were going into last year.
They also have the pressure of being the World Series champions.
And their pitching is better.
Look at the Cubs, though. The Cubs were technically the team to beat this year, and they flopped.
Yeah, but they were still the team to beat going into
right on their face.
Yeah, but they went to the playoffs and they made it to the NLCS.
I think that there's more to it. I think there's a lot of pressure here, and I don't think that they're the team to beat this year. All right, so let's put it this way. If I have to pick a team that's not the Yankees team to beat this year in the AL, it's the Red Sox. It's not the Astros. Period. Point blank, period. I think there are better teams than the Astros out there.
I'm not saying there aren't better teams, but the Astros are the team to beat.
Technically speaking, for the World Series, yes.
It's like in basketball. Who's the team to beat in the East?
Well, there's at the beginning of the season, it was different than now. So
it's the Cavs. No matter, it's still the Cavs.
Yeah, I guess. But
even though they're the 3 seed, the Celtics and the Raptors are better. They have currently better records, but those aren't the teams to beat in the East. The team to beat is the Cavs, and the same thing in baseball. The team to beat is the Astros. Until somebody can prove that they can be beaten, they are the team to beat. Because right now it's not proven.
If you put it that way, yes. I was just thinking of who has the best roster, and I think that there are 2 better rosters out there.
Okay, fair enough.
Personal opinion.
All right, yeah, no, I'm not saying I disagree with you. I actually think there are a couple better rosters as well. Next question, go ahead.
Will any major star players be traded this year on the last year of their deals, a la Manny Machado?
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Donaldson. I mean, this is the Blue Jays team that I think that's going to be pretty successful through about mid-July, and then reality is going to set in that our pitching can't take us all the way because it's good pitching, not great pitching, and we have a good offensive player and we have no other offense around, and the Blue Jays are going to have to dish him out somewhere.
Where does he end up?
So I mean, this is difficult because teams. He's a third baseman, right?
Yes.
Or I guess he could play DH as well.
He's a power corner hitter.
But I mean, you look at all the teams in baseball that are going to be contenders, and none of them need third baseman. I mean, you look at the Red Sox, they have Devers. If you look at the Yankees, they have Drury, and they have Andujar, who they expect to be good. I mean, you look at the Astros, they have Bregman. You look at the Indians, they have Jose Ramirez.
Yep.
So
he's only like 25.
Yeah, so they are going to have a tough time finding somebody. I mean, you can maybe say the Nationals, maybe Zimmerman has an injury, or I don't even.
And you can't even look at the Giants either because they just got Longoria.
So exactly. So I don't know where he's going to end up going. Maybe a team like Arizona or St. Louis, a wild card team. Maybe because
I just don't see him going to a top team. Like for the reasons like you said, his position just isn't needed for one of those teams right now. Does Machado get traded?
Same problem. I mean,
but he's going to shortstop now. He's playing shortstop this year.
All right, it's the same issue. look at the teams that are going to be contenders.
Yep.
Do they need shortstops?
No,
the answer
really.
is no. The Astros have Correa. The Indians have Lindor. The Red Sox have Bogarts. The Yankees have
Gregorius.
So
and Torres, in a sense. He's really
and,
a shortstop.
and it's like those teams like with Chris Archer with being the Rays, in division rivals, they're not going to trade. They're not going to trade with each other.
Nope.
It doesn't.
Nope.
It doesn't
and
happen.
I don't even want to talk about who he's going to sign with because we already know who that's going to be.
All right. Will the Dodgers have the best record in baseball again, and will they break 100 wins?
Flat out, no.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Their division is the best in baseball. I talked about it earlier. These teams are going to murder each other. There's 4 good teams in this division, and yeah, no, it's all absolutely insane. I think you can win this division with 92 wins. So
yeah, it's
I think
definitely the toughest division in
they'll have
baseball.
92 wins. Best record in baseball? No, I think it's going to be the Nationals. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. There's no way that they even come close to the best record in baseball again. They had 24 wins in a row last year, 24-game win streak, something along those lines. I don't know the exact number. It was very long. That's not going to happen again. They're not going to have as good of a season. This is just going to be a wash season for me. They need more pitching than just Clayton Kershaw. But the reason I have him as the Cy Young is because he's going to pull them to the playoffs this year. They're just not going to win in the playoffs. But that being said, will the Marlins break 50 wins this year, and will another team be worse? We kind of already went over this. I don't think that they break 50 wins this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Yeah, no, I think they will break 50 wins this year. It's really hard. So if they you have them at 41, and what would that be? That'd be like 119 losses or 120 something losses like that.
Roughly.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, no, I don't.
It's unrealistic, but you know what? Hopefully, I pissed the Marlins
so
off.
that'd be 41 and 119, something like that. That's. Yeah, that's
no,
not.
it'd be
happening.
120.
Or 120, yeah. So that would. It would be 121. 121 and 41 would be 162.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're not having 100.
This is why we work in broadcasting, because we are not mathematicians.
Quick math. But yeah, no, they're gonna have 50 wins this year. I think they'll have 100 losses, but they're gonna have at least 50 wins. Any team gonna be worse than them? I could see the Mets with all their injuries. If everybody gets injured, which is very, very possible. It's not like that unlikely to happen. So, yeah, no, I think a team could be worse than the Marlins record, but I think the Marlins are going to have like 58, 59 wins.
I think that I know I named 2 teams before, but the team that really wouldn't surprise me to see do worse than the Marlins this year is the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, we can see that.
And we already
could definitely
talked
see
about
that. Yep.
Archer is not going to be there. Regardless of where he is not going to be on the Tampa Bay Rays at season's end.
Yeah, I agree. Who is the best team in the National League this year? Is it Cubs, Nationals, Dodgers, Giants, somebody else?
It's the Nationals, no question about it.
Yeah.
The only reason that I have them at 98 wins and not at over 100 is because of the division they play in. Now you say, well, they play in not a great division. But that also could backfire. They could not show up on a lot of nights because they think, oh, well, we're playing the Mets, and the Mets are hurt. Then the Mets are going to go out and beat them because the Nationals aren't bringing their A game. I think that will be a detriment to them in the regular season, but I do think that they have the best roster in the majors.
Yeah, I'm in 100% agreement. I have the Nationals with 101 wins this year. I have that the most in the MLB. I have the Nationals' best team in all of baseball.
All right. Can the Indians put it all together this year finally?
They're going to come pretty close. I think they're going to go to the World Series, but they're going to lose. I think it's going to be a World Series between 2 teams that have been there, but they just haven't been to be able to put it together at all. In the Nationals' case, they haven't been able to put it together for a playoff series. The Indians, it seems like 2 years ago they had it against the Cubs. They fail miserably. They have they blow a 3-1 lead, and then last year against the Yankees they had a 2-0 lead in the ALDS and they blow it. I think they'll go to the World Series this year, but I also think they'll eventually end up blowing it. What about you?
I think that they're gonna slide a little bit this year. I think competition.
You don't
is
even have to
getting
win the
better.
division.
Yeah, so I think competition has gotten better throughout the AL period, and I think that is going to hurt them long term this year. I think Edwin Encarnacion, it's hard for him to stay healthy for a full 162 games. And I think it's just going to be a trickle-down effect. It's just not going to be their year. I'm sorry, Cleveland fans, but it's just my gut feeling, and you got to go with your gut. So, but next, will pace of play be a factor in the early season before players and managers get the hang of it?
I think so a little bit. I was watching MLB TV today, and I was watching some clips, and I heard Clayton Kershaw was kind of concerned about it because they were doing it in spring training, so they were obviously getting used to it a little bit. And he was saying that there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. And if there needs to be a little bit of adjustment for the best pitcher in baseball, then yeah, it's going to affect every pitcher, and I think it's going to affect every manager. Dave Roberts is one of the best managers in the game, so I think if it's going to affect them too, it's going to affect everybody.
I think that at the beginning, it's going to take about a couple of months. But as somebody said, I actually think I heard this on ESPN. That sports, they change. Football, there was never all these rules. There's rules added every year. In hockey, there are rules added. Just for instance, the trapezoid rule, and two-line pass was taken out. And basketball rules are added and they're taken away. And the best of the best adapt. That's how it works. Football is the worst. They change their rules every year. They just changed the catch rule this year. There's so much changing. But what happens? The best players adapt, and the players that don't adapt are the ones that aren't on teams anymore. So it's going to take a couple months, but definitely we'll get the hang of it after that.
All right, how long until big name free agents like Jose Bautista, Greg Holland last on free agency before somebody signs them?
Less than a month.
For both of them? Okay, yeah, no, for Batista, I can see it taking a little bit. His numbers have been trailing down since he had that monster year with the Blue Jays. So yeah, he's a little bit. I'm skeptical with him. Greg Holland, I would say he's a top 10 closer. Some people put him top 5.
I don't know why he doesn't have a contract.
Yeah, so I definitely could see a team getting him. I could see a team like the Red Sox maybe adding him, or a team like the Indians, maybe even the Twins. A team that, there's teams out there that need. You can always use an extra arm in your bullpen. You can never have too many arms. So yeah.
All right. Well, the next question we're just going to skip. Will the Nationals win a playoff series? We both have them win the World Series. Yep. So will Jake Arrieta push the Phillies to the playoffs? We already answered that question for you. The answer is no, but I think they'll get close.
Yeah. So this is something interesting I do want to bring up about Jake Arrieta. Over the course of the past 3 seasons, since his Cy Young award-winning year, he had a good season before that. Before that good season, where it was 2014, he won it in 2015. 2014, he had a good year. Before that, he was in the league from 2010, 2013. Nothing at all. He changed his pitching motion, and it does it in this way where you are absolutely dominant with your slider, but you really do damage to your arm, and you have this peak season, and then everything trails downhill. And I've heard this story like 4 or 5 years ago, and it seems to be trailing everything in the right direction of this exact prediction, where the Cy Young award-winning year, he has 229 innings pitched and an ERA of 2.35. Very good. He has 197 the year after, and then last year 168. I don't know. He seems to be trending downwards, and his ERA is from the Cy Young year 235. This past year 416. So that's not.
And he's getting older.
Yeah,
he is getting older. He's on the wrong side of 30 at this point. So
we got one last question. We're gonna do it really quick. Yeah. Any managers that get fired this season, and who?
No managers get fired during the season, but wow. I do think that it's possible that Don Mattingly gets canned after this year.
Yeah, I could see that absolutely, and I could see the Angels replacing Mike Scioscia.
Oh, it's very possible. He's the longest-standing tenured manager besides Buck Showalter. That's going to be a tough one to do, but it is possible if the Angels don't make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think if they don't make the playoffs, absolutely gone.
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
So maybe not during the season, maybe the end of the season.
Yep, which is what I think with the Marlins.
So coming up next week, I'm going to be doing an NHL rant. Can you believe that?
You're doing it, not me?
I'm doing an NHL rant. I am absolutely.
Do I agree with you?
I don't know. We'll see. This is interesting. It's going to be poking at the NHL for their inconsistencies and their playoff system, which I think is absolute bogus, and it really, really needs changing. I'm gonna tear the NHL a new a-hole. Believe it or not.
I would love to see how this is gonna go, but I know you and I both agree on one thing.
What's that?
The NHL playoffs are the best playoffs out there.
Yeah, no, it's honestly, I can't watch hockey during the regular season, but during the playoffs, I watch like every game. So
it's just a totally different atmosphere, and not next week. We're gonna do the rant next week. Not next week will we talk about hockey, but the following week, right before the playoffs,
we're gonna be doing
a whole playoff preview, and we'll jump into it then, and we'll give you a little bit more then, but.
Yo, I just want to say one more thing. Zdeno Chara signed a 1-year deal with the Boston Bruins. Go Bruins! You're listening to BTH.
Let's go Devils.